Hey guys, how are ya? This is Gino Bonino and welcome once again to my video. This is going to be one on signed books and strange books, basically books that don't fit within continuity or also don't fit in a regular box. Some of them are kind of big and it'll make a little bit more sense in a few minutes. Couple things about these guys that you're seeing in front of you. These are some vinyl kits that I put together probably about 12 or 15 years ago. Um, and I just used a brush to do it. I did kind of a lousy job, and now what I'm in the process of doing is stripping them and going to repaint with an airbrush. Do a lot better job, and so they look kind of jacked, and they are jacked. These I brought home with me with my comic books from Wisconsin, and they were in about 6 or 7 different pieces each. The first thing I did was what happens is you put these together with super glue, and the super glue gets a little bit brittle and they tend to break, and that's what happened. So I glued them together and soaked them in some water and soaked them in some solvent to get some of the paint off, and that's why they look a little bit jacked right now. But basically what I'll end up doing is taking all the paint off, sanding them down, covering the cracks, and then I'm going to do a repaint. So I'll hopefully be able to show you a before and after. This is definitely falls under the before. But anyway, yeah, that's what you have here. So let me get right to the books. These are some books that I did trades for. These are some big books and don't really fit in any continuity. These are some early Gold Key, really fantastic condition books for 12 centers. This is Magnus before he became a Valiant character. What happened in essence was Gold Key started with the character, and then the character just died away. And Valiant, when they restarted, they either bought the character or the trademark had expired on him, or the artist maybe had the rights to him. I'm not sure, but anyway, they moved to Valiant, and Valiant published them for a while. I think they still are actually, but anyway, this is the early version of Magnus and Dr. Solar, which turned into Solar, the Man of the Atom for Valiant. And these are excellent covers. They kind of had that painted quality to them. I remember there being this and Turok and Tarzan and all that kind of stuff. It always caught my eye. But anyway, this is issue number 6. And for the condition these in, they're just incredible. I mean, they look like they came off the shelf yesterday. It's amazing. Whoever collected these really took incredible care of the books. This is issue 7. And these are quite rare. I haven't seen many of these, especially in this condition. I mean, these are really fine. Issue 8. Issue 9. Issue 12. '37. There's a bit of a jump in... and I remember this cover as clear as day. See if you guys do too, if you collected back then. Issue 41, which had him running with the robots chasing him. Just an amazing cover. Issue 41. Then we jump to Dr. Solar. This is issue number 2. Don't know how the shine is. Let me see. It looks pretty good. Issue number 10. Again, a very cool cover with him being big like that. If you were a fan of Godzilla or King Kong or anything, this, I promise you, this cover caught your eye. With the jets going around him and shooting and all that, this was so cool. This was issue 16. Issue 17. '19 and 22. '24. And then something weird happened. Gold Gold Key quit publishing them, and they got completely different covers. They were sold to Whitman, and this is issue 29. Look at the difference between what Gold Key did with the painted kind of photo-looking cover, and then what Whitman did with them. That's 29, and this is 31. And then I've got some signed books. This is $2.99 Spider-Man, signed by Todd McFarlane, right there. Make sure I'm showing it to you. Well, right there. And I don't have any clue who signed this. If you guys know this signature, please put in the comments who that is. I can't figure it out looking at the writers. I don't know if it's Todd McFarlane or Rob Liefeld and it was a poor signature or they were in a hurry or whatever the case may be, but that's what I have. That's the only one. I have no clue whose signature that is. Dr. Mirage. This was issue number 3. This was a Valiant book, and this is gold signed by looks like Bernard Chang right there at the top. This was a Wizard send away, basically Wizard. If you paid, I think it was $10 or whatever, they got this signed and they shipped it out to you. And this was Harbinger number 6, and this is signed by Jim Shooter and Lapham, I believe, the artist and the writer of the book. I have a couple copies of these. Jim Shooter, Lapham. Then a Hulk 368 signed by Sam Keith down at the bottom. And I have a couple Sam Keith fans that have made sure and let me know who he was. I spaced out on his name before. And then when he left Marvel, he went and started his own book called The Max at Image, and I was one of those people that stood in line for the Golden Apple opening of that. Basically, what you got is you stood in line and got a bracelet, which told you when to come back. You re-lined up, and what that gave you for is a book, and then you could buy, I think, up to 2 or 3 copies. Stood in line, and he not only signed the book, but he also signed the authenticity certificate, which I thought was pretty cool. Once again, Golden Apple was pretty close to me, so when I knew that it was coming, I have actually a couple copies of that. Limited to 1,000 copies is what I guess he wanted to only sign 1,000 signatures. So I've got 2 of them. Then I've got New Mutants 86, and this is signed by Rob Liefeld. Right there on the waist of, right there. And then I did the same thing when Jim Valentino came out and did Shadowhawk, which is, he signed his issue, and, sorry about that, and also there's the authenticity certificate that came with it. I was the 200, probably about the 90th or 100th person in line. This is the 292nd certificate, but many people bought multiple copies, so it had nothing to do with where you were in line. And then I have a 266 X-Men, and this is signed, I believe, by Chris Claremont. Kind of a big deal in The Hobby, and also a Wolverine #1 signed by Chris Claremont. And another Shadowhawk 2. This is 291, and like I said before, I showed you 292. Sword of Azrael, Joe Quesada. He did his kind of a shortened version, but yeah, you always knew him because he did the Q with the 2 little lines in it. And Exo Man of War, top loader that got yellowed, and signed by Jim Shooter. That one's out of the plastic. I'm not going to put it back in that top loader. That top loader is jacked. Then, this was the first one, Rob Liefeld. He came out, and this was, you probably have seen news reports of us crazy people standing in line for Youngblood 1. He signed it up here. And again, once again, you got a letter of certificate of authenticity, limited to 1,000. This was number 522. I've got about 3 of those. I think there's a limit of 4. And that is it for my sign book, guys. Some pretty good names, though, in the industry, I think. I do have, actually, I take that back. My probably grail book when it comes to sign stuff is this guy. 371 Fantastic Four, signed by who else? Stan the Man. And this was a cool kind of you can see the Human Torch, and it's kind of an embossed book. But anyway, yeah, very cool signature. How it stands out against the white background. One of my definite favorite books. I couldn't believe I forgot about that. But anyway, yeah, this one I'm going to have graded as well and have encased in, I have slabbed, so it's encased in plastic, so it is preserved. It's in really good condition. Again, these were tough books because they tended to get dings in the cover and stuff like that, in the spine. And that's it, guys. Thanks again for watching. And I look forward to watching your things. Comment if you do know that signature, please, down in the comment section, who that is. Again, is it a poor Rob Liefeld on that New Mutants 87? And I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.